Coming to you from the M&M Exterior Studio in Knoxville, Virginia, this is Flushing It Out with Samantha Spittle, the introvert's extrovert. She talks to people so you don't have to. For now.
If you come back, we are going to have some inflatables on the front yard.
Inflatables.
Just saying.
Is it the nativity scene?
No, but
is it an inflatable nativity scene?
but they do sell one, but it's a few $100s, which is out of our price range. But I did want one to add to the to all the others.
Array.
We were a strictly white light family. I mean, we like all colors of lights, but we just liked the simplistic
the
vibe.
Aesthetic, yeah.
Yes, aesthetic. And then the kids were very disappointed in our house. Like they just really, it was like they were so ashamed of our house that we only had some white lights on it. And so we got one inflatable, and now we have about 12.
Jesus Christ.
We don't have that
Jesus
one.
Christ.
Literally.
Yeah, we don't have Jesus Christ. We don't have him yet, but we're working on it.
Yet.
So, yeah, we're working on it. So when I saw the inflatable nativity, I was like, that could be next level, but I don't know.
That feels like
it's commitment.
Yeah, it feels like, in Finding Nemo when they say don't go past the coral reef.
Yeah.
A Jesus inflatable feels like doing that.
Yeah.
Like that feels like you've gone out into like the unknown. Like what's next?
Well,
right.
It's fine. I feel like a Jesus inflatable is the only natural next step.
Yes.
I would say you're probably a really good friend.
I try to be.
And sane. Well, I hope. I don't know. I can't speak for that. But people is my priority. Spending time with people. And there's no measurable success for like how good you are at being a friend.
Yeah, and like how good you are at hanging out.
Yeah, and that's my only hobby is hanging out.
Exactly. And I think we've been living parallel lives in many ways. But that's exactly was my problem. Like
could you score me on
someone I didn't know very well was like, what do you do for fun? Like, what are your hobbies? And I was like,
going out to eat. That's for me.
Yeah, going out to eat with my friends.
Yeah. Honestly, hanging out with friends.
That's it. Yeah.
I moved around a lot, so I had to answer that question a lot, like the icebreaker stuff.
I didn't have a hobby. And I was like, oh no, like I gotta stop depending on like other people for like my interests. Yes. And so kind of lucking into the storytelling thing and pursuing it and getting to this place now has been really great. And like to have professional success and personal success is something I've never had before. Like I've never had them concurrently. It's kind of one or the other, right?
Yeah.
And so right now I feel like I'm in that place. So things look very different than they did. And having a hobby is just really changed things. And it's not like jewel painting.
Which, if that was your thing.
If that's your hobby, that's cool. But like, I can't do stuff like that. I'm too like, why can't I talk? I want to talk to people.
I only do activities to hang out with people. Like,
same.
I was saying how when I went through my migraine struggle a couple of years ago, and I was really bad off. I had this analogy that when I was trying to explain to someone is that I was going through this life shift, which was where I needed to start doing things for me because I've always been the type. Even though I feel like I'm very selfish and do a lot of things for myself, meaning very like go with the flow, seemingly. Like, you want to go hiking? Sure, I'll go hiking because I would move. And this is where I examined my life. And I was like, I would move. And having friends was the most kind of stable, important thing I needed. So if a friend said, do you want to go for a hike? Which I don't think that actually ever really happened in my life.
It's like thinking about what people do.
But I'm sure I did something physical where I would say, yes, I would go. I would be miserable.
Yeah.
But I would put on a happy face because I wanted to have the social interaction.
I've done that so many times.
Yes. But then it's like, okay, we shift to, we do something until we figure out what what I can, we both be happy doing. And I feel like that was an undercover skill I did. Like, instead of camping, you mentioned you like movies. Let's go to the movies,
Yeah.
So what I realized though is that I could move. So like, let's say I'm friends with a hiking enthusiast. Well, I hike with her once or twice. We figure out what we want to do and then we move on and then I move. What I realized is living in one place for so long, I couldn't keep the pace up with my life of like, I am not a go person. And I keep trying to go hiking and do everything when like, I need a lot of Netflix time.
I want that.
I can't.
Yeah. I
I
remember once in Korea, I was hanging out with a friend and we were in a neighborhood called Myeongdong, which is a, like shopping district. And there's like a Catholic church there. And my friend was Catholic and he was like, oh, I just like want to go to church. And I was like, yeah, I'll go. It's fine. Like, I don't want to go to church at all. Like that's the last thing I want to do. But I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll just like zone out for like Catholic services are an hour long. I'm not zone out. And that's what I did. I was just like, and he like took communion and whatever. And because like I was just so desperate to hang out. Like that's what I've done. I totally get what you mean where I'm like, yeah, I'll absolutely do this thing I have no interest in doing just because I want to hang out with you and we can be friends.
Yeah.
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 And I want to please you.
Yeah. And we can't sustain that forever.
No.
We have to find things that fill us up.
Do you know how many times I got in high school? I got tricked into going to Christian rock concerts so many times for this exact reason. Like my one friend just like always at her church. And I'd be like, you got me.
Got me again.
Got me again. Yeah. And which like, if that's your boat, if that's your like thing, fine. But it like super isn't my thing. And I just got tricked so many times.
You were trying.
It begs the question though, do you really want to be on this podcast?
Yes, I do.
Do you really want to be here?
I know.
I do 100%.
Do you want this friendship to really happen?
You know, driving an hour really does mean that I want to be here.
Thank
I don't think
you.
I would have done that.
you.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm just kidding. Obviously.
Thank you.
Are you? Jeremy.
Well, if you're going to do it every Saturday for our side podcast.
Jeremy's been against this from the beginning.
He's a douche nozzle.
He's such a douche nozzle.
So I would say, you know, from your journey, your non-bachelor journey, having success personally, professionally, where do you feel like you go now to protect your mental health?
Bachelor in Paradise.
Thank you. Guilty pleasure. Actually, I did not watch this season of Bachelor in Paradise.
I didn't either.
Because it was just like, I think either it's getting worse or I'm just getting maybe better as a person.
Am I better than Bachelor in Paradise?
I haven't
The
been.
answer is no.
I'm not. Actually,
How do I protect my mental health?
Okay, I'm
Not Bachelor in Paradise.
I was going to tell you that. So I'm trying to think how to leverage this podcast because all Bachelor people have podcasts.
Yeah.
But I'm fortunately or unfortunately married and I cannot go on Bachelor.
Yeah.
But that also implies that I would get chosen to be on Bachelor.
Yeah,
and that's
I was just going to say,
people in the past.
I'm single, but I'm not their aesthetic. That's not
You're
what,
not the target market.
You know what? So this is what I want to say. One of the women that performed with me at the Moth Grand Slam.
Yes.
She is from South Africa.
Yes.
And we were backstage. Me and like some of the other girls were backstage. And one of the guys were talking about, body image, just real like cool, like pre-show banter, just like really lighthearted. And
body image, just lighthearted banter.
Just like just like get the nerves out by like talking about how we feel about our bodies.
Yes, perfect.
And she was like, in my country, you would be known as a thick madame and men would be lining up. And I was like, I now have the confidence to win this. Thank you very much.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
You also
Thick
have your
madame.
next trip lined up?
Yeah. It's to South Africa.
Yes, girl.
I'm going to Durban, South Africa, and I'm going to find husband.
Yes.
Lined up. She said.
Up.
Desiree, thank you. I was like,
when you got on stage, you've been doing like any South Africans in the house tonight.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Here I'm very desirable over there. Thank you, Desiree. She's coming up next. Yeah. So,
but yes, protecting
my mental health, getting compliments like that. That's number one. Honestly, I went for a long time without going to therapy and that was like my choice and I didn't really want to. And now I'm going again. And I think that is important that people realize that sometimes like, I think the knee jerk reaction is like, oh, you need to be in therapy. You need to be in therapy. You need to be in therapy. And it's like, do you know like what happens in therapy? Or like, do you know like, that I've been going to therapy for a really long time. And sometimes it's like when you take Advil every day, it doesn't work. after a while, you know? And so I waited until recently to pursue getting a therapist, and that's for the most part been good. I'm not really sure that I need to have a therapist for a year. And I think that people need to be respectful of that choice and the pressure of knowing people that if people know you have a mental health issue and they kind of pressure you about that. I know my family's really bad about that. And it
checking, have you gone to therapy? Have you,
or oh, you need a therapist, blah, blah. And won't take it as you know what? I don't right now. I don't feel like I want therapy. It's not a need thing. It's I don't want that right now. I don't really feel like talk therapy is what I need in my life at this moment. And I finally got to a place where I decided, and that's important, and giving me autonomy on that, and respecting my autonomy, because I made one irrational decision, but you can't punish me for that for the rest of my life, right?
That's huge.
And sometimes I feel like that because I did that, people don't trust me anymore, which I guess is reasonable to an extent, but I also haven't done anything since, well, at the same time, I mean, I guess nobody saw that coming. So yeah, but I think respecting I've put down a lot of boundaries and really, asked people to respect my autonomy in that. And I am doing things I'm supposed to do. I'm taking all my medicine. I'm cause part of it, I stopped taking my medicine and cause I was having a crisis of why do I need medicine to get out of bed?
Yeah.
And am I going to have to be on this the rest of my life? And why can't I just be normal and get out? Why can't I just exist without this stuff? And I can't. I mean, that's legit. And
but if you had a heart condition and you needed to have medicine for your heart condition.
Exactly.
It's not fair, I feel with mental health, that we make those. I mean, it's logical that we have those thoughts, but I feel it's not fair. If you had
Yeah. And I don't think there are a lot of diabetics out there who just don't take their insulin anymore.
I don't feel it.
It's,
I'm going to try harder.
And so I've gotten to the point where I have accepted that. Yeah. And I take my medicine. I am going to therapy now. I'm pursuing things
but it was in your own time, right?
Yeah. And it was in my own time. And I think that's important too. And I wish people would stop telling me to exercise. I am really overweight, and that's what it is. And it is something I struggle with a lot, and not currently something I'm working on. So I'm just I'm going to be honest.
That's great. That's great. But I have a friend, and she actually, I was at a meeting and she made a comment. She's a very, in tune person, with herself and all that stuff. And she said she gave herself permission to be fat. Because she had a lot of stuff going on in her life. Yeah. And that was the one thing that can't deal with this right now. Yeah. And I think owning that, yes, we want to be healthy and all that, but if we can only make so many choices. Yeah. If you want to take that off the beam right now,
Yeah. And you know what? I imagine that I'll get to a place where I am going to start exercising regularly again and eating better, but now's not the time. But I do wish people would stop saying that that's the cure for everything, because it's not. Because I did lose at one point a whole bunch of weight, and it didn't solve the problems that I thought it would solve. So I think that's part of my lack of motivation with that. And getting to a place where I care about myself enough to do this stuff is important, and I don't think I'm there yet. So I think that I've gotten a lot better with being, spending my time that I'm alone, in a positive way, and not going down a negative road, which I think was a big problem. So that's a big part of, I guess, protecting myself is
yeah. And I think that's, we talked with one of our guests recently about healing core wounds. And so when you work on those things, the other stuff can fall into place versus trying to put the Band-Aid on. And like you said, then it's oh, this is still going on.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy, do you want to share anything quick?
I don't know what to say.
I'm going to destroy this studio.
I'm I'm going to break shit.
I'm going to break
I
everything.
wrote it down. I was like, I have to say this. I have to say that.
I'm going to break everything. Break all your microphones, and I'm not
We don't
going to
have
pay
time.
you back.
We don't have time. Come on,
I
Jeremy.
don't know. I have a note here for true millennial, but I don't remember what I was going to say.
She switched jobs. She...
Oh, I remember now. You said you're a true millennial.
Yeah.
So are you getting it, butting heads with the boomers?
Not really. Most of the people I work with are pretty young, but even the older ones are.
This is a new thing.
Pretty chill,
I
yeah.
just learned about this this
Oh
week,
yeah, the
that
whole
this is a
okay
thing
boomer
now.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I didn't even know about that.
Most of the older people that I work with are really open to new stuff. So, but yeah, I do not butt head. I don't generally butt heads with people over generational things because I don't care enough.
Yeah,
I know.
same here.
That's kind of how I feel about things. Like,
so you're sort of like a Gen Xer too.
Yeah,
she's definitely a millennial.
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I am an elder millennial like you guys. I remember a time before the internet.
I think I'm
We're Zennials. We're crossed between Gen
Yeah.
X
right.
and millennials.
I think
Yeah.
I'm
which is our own made-up term. I mean, not us. Someone else
Yeah,
made
yeah.
it up. And
I don't know if I'm at the millennial mark.
No?
I'm a Xer.
it's 78 to 83, they say, is the Zennials. Where
Yeah.
you're,
Oh, really?
crossed over.
Okay, yeah. I'm 87, so that's like
Yes.
true elder millennial.
Yeah.
I was born in
but
80.
elder.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
39 today. Almost 40.
Uh-oh. Staring down the barrel. What are your other notes, Jeremy?
I honestly didn't take much.
Didn't know what
I
to
enjoyed
say.
listening.
Didn't know what to say. Thanks a lot, Jeremy.
Well, there were a few things that I was like, I wanted to chime in and be like, huh? What's that? Come again?
Well, that's why. So, honestly, thank you for sharing all you shared because you and I, we love jiving, riffing.
Yeah.
And there was actually a moment where I was like, oh, are we going to be able to turn this? Because this is fun. I don't know. So thank you for helping lead that because I was like, where do we want this to go?
If you want to go down a dark road, I will lead you.
Please lead me. Lead me.
Anytime. In our huggles.
The checking in thing, because I feel like for me as your new friend,
Yeah.
I want to talk about stuff. Like, yes,
Yeah.
if you're willing, like, let's sit in the ashes and do it. So my thing is like, okay, I am a fixer by nature as well. So like,
You should look up active listening.
yeah,
What?
I mean, stop, don't ignore. Yes. So, and I feel like I have certain skills of doing that, like with my friend, like I'm just like there, like this sucks. Just a lot of cursing.
Yeah, a lot of
If cursing works for active listening, I'm very good at that. But it's that I feel like I suppress it. And then afterwards, I'm like, okay, now I'm in go mode. What can I do to make it better? And we didn't say it on the podcast, but what I wanted to kind of ask you about, though, was that I think as a friend to someone who's going through a hard time, that honestly only showing up and active listening is the only solution. And prayer, if that's your thing, too. You could add prayer to the list, but or good vibes or healing energies or something. But
Or just none of that.
yeah. Or just like loving the human.
I'd be cool. I'd be cool with just showing up and,
Yeah.
and active listening.
Emily, thank you so much for coming today. I truly appreciate you coming and sharing, and I hope that you will come back.
I will absolutely come back every Saturday forever. So
Please
see you next
do.
Saturday.
We're going to do an offshoot podcast. It'll either be special content or just a full-blown side podcast.
Yeah. And it's going to be my mom talking about NCIS LA.
That is amazing. And if people want to find you and find your stories, where can they do that?
Right now, you can check me out on Instagram at Emily Yarrison. I probably should make a website.
Yes, I've owned the domain to mine, but I have not yet made it.
Yeah,
So
haven't done that.
No one stealhername.com.
Does anyone want to buy a Squarespace site for me for Christmas? That sounds that sounds great.
Family,
yeah, I think so. I hope to build a website soon, but I am quite lazy. So you can find me on Instagram.
that's perfect. That's all you need. And I think I might be able to post your story on my YouTube channel for Fleshing It Out.
Perfect.
And the Facebook group, too, will drop a link to your stories as well. So
Okay, yeah, I can give you all the links to them. Don't worry.
thank you. Thank you for your generosity.
It's my calling, I think, really. It's not something I can control.
you. And thank you for introducing me to a Huggle.
Oh, you're welcome.
This was the most comfortable podcast in the whole world.
So comfortable. Oh, I don't even want to leave.
I know. Now you have to take it off and go to a musical, but
that's going to be fun. Open the gates and see.
My trophy. My trophy. That you didn't look. The moth needs
so
to
cool.
do this. The moth.
I'm jealous.
Can you believe the moth doesn't do this?
I'm so mad.
I felt the same way when I did my contest. That like everyone's story was great. I would have been cool losing to any of them. But once I saw this, I was like, I need it. I need it. I love you all, but
I feel like the knocking over of the trophy is the start of a rivalry.
Oh no! No way! No, Jeremy,
don't plant that seed.
That's so misogynistic.
How dare you? I'm leaving.
I'm to turn it into a thing with us.
Don't ever do
Fine. That. Oh my gosh, they're leaving. It's just me now, guys. Just me.
And that's a wrap. For now.
Thanks for listening to Flushing It Out with Samantha Spittle. Music provided by twinmusicom.org. Song titled Night at the Dance Hall. Sound editing by me, Jeremy Spittle. A special thanks to our studio sponsor, M&M Exteriors. Visit their website at mmexteriors.com for all of your roofing, siding, and gutter needs in the Northern Virginia area. Visit our website at flushingitout.com and be sure to subscribe. This has been a Spitfire production.
That was the greatest thing I've ever heard.